Moon, I want to pray 5 times a day, but what do I do when I'm out in public? It's a very common question. I've helped a lot of clients deal with this. And when I was younger, I had this problem a lot too. I would feel really shy and embarrassed, especially I live in the UK and I used to live in Spain. I've always lived in Western countries and prayer just isn't a thing. It's just not a thing. People don't know what you're doing. It looks strange and you might get really afraid or insecure as you're praying if you're doing it in public. There are a couple of tricks I'm going to give you that completely change the mindset and the whole environment and the feel. You see, what I used to do, which didn't work very well, is I used to, if I was in public, but I had to pray because it was prayer time, I would rush through the prayer. I would quickly, secretly do wudu somewhere and then hope that nobody caught me. And I would take my jacket off and put it on the ground and quickly do the prayer and try and do it in a corner of a room where maybe nobody will see, but then somebody walks past and then they're really stunned because you're hiding in a corner somewhere. I found that never worked particularly well for me because while I was praying, it would damage the prayer. It would literally, I felt like I was rushing through the prayer, hoping to complete it before somebody caught me. And I've had a lot of clients who have come to me with similar points, a similar issue. I'm going to give you two secrets to praying if you're in public. The first is if you're in the center of a town that's full of shops, right? Like you're in the middle of Manchester or London or any city in the world and there are shops everywhere. This is a real secret, is you go into one of the shops. I'm going to give you two, right? This first one, it's you're still keeping it secret, and the second one is the real gem that will not only change your life, but it might change other people's lives too, and it has in my experience. So the first one is, if you are in public and there's nowhere, you're in the city center, you're in the middle of a shopping center, what I recommend you do is go into a shop where you are actually interested in looking at some of the clothes, take some clothes, go to the changing room, boom, you have your own private quarters. Nobody looks in a changing room. You can get your prayer mat out, you can do your prayer, nobody even notices or cares, right? That's the first secret, is if you're out shopping somewhere, take some clothes that you're interested in, make sure that you go into the changing room, give yourself 5 minutes, do the prayer, and you're done. But you're still hiding a little bit, all right? So that method is you're still a little bit hiding, but it's a lot more. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You don't have to tell anyone what you're doing. You don't have to ask people, hey, is there a prayer room anywhere? Because usually there's not. But it helps you. I found that it's very practical and I've used it many times myself. But now I'm going to give you the second tip, which is the real one. If you're at work and you need to pray, or if you're out and about and you need to pray, don't rush it and don't hide it, right? What do I mean by that? Don't just take your jacket off and throw it on the ground in the corner of the room. No. Do the exact opposite. When I'm in public and I need to pray, I make sure I have a prayer mat, like a portable, foldable prayer mat, and I get it out and I lay it on the ground. And I take my shoes off and I stand on the prayer mat, right? And ideally, if I have a hat, I'll put the hat on as well. And if I have a tasbih or prayer beads, I'll put them on so that anybody who walks by, when they look at me, they're not confused about what I'm doing. It's very obvious I'm doing some kind of a prayer ritual. If I'm in a park, I'll do it in the middle of the park. If I'm in a busy area, I might find a quieter spot so I'm not disturbing people. Now, one time I was at a big conference and I spoke on stage at the conference. It was this big, I think it was CoachCon or something. It was a conference for coaches. And I spoke on stage, I did a whole presentation. And then prayer time came. I stepped out of the main room and in the hallway of this massive hotel, it was a big lobby, and I just stood in the hallway, got my prayer mat out, got my tasbih out, put my hat on, and I did my prayer. I wasn't hiding, I wasn't in the corner of the room. I wasn't in anyone's way, but I wasn't disturbing anybody, but it was visible what I was doing, right? And I did it because that's just become my norm now. If I need to pray somewhere, I'm not going to hide or pretend I'm doing something else. What happened is pretty amazing. I completed the prayer. I didn't realize, but it turns out that in the middle of the prayer, they called for a break anyway. So everybody comes out of this conference and I'm there praying. And this was in the United States of America, right? And I remember at the end of the prayer, it goes, Salamu alaikum. And there's a crowd of people just looking at me. I don't think they've ever seen a Muslim pray before. And Assalamu alaikum. Finish the dua. And then immediately someone goes over to me and goes, that was absolutely beautiful. That was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. What was that? And then I explained to them, this is the prayer of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him. And I was reciting the Quran. And it was like, it literally opened up a conversation where they were asking, it's like they immediately assumed I was a very spiritual person and so on. Now, the point I'm making here is don't hide the prayer. Iqamat as-salah, right? Stand up, like stand for prayer. Don't hide in a corner and pray. Do it with all of your intention and all of your energy. And there have been many stories of people who will see someone pray in a very busy place, but just the sight of them doing it, it's intriguing. Wow, what is that person doing? How incredible is that man's faith, or is that woman's faith, that all of this is going on, but they don't care, man. It's time to pray, it's time to pray. It is an intrinsically beautiful thing. There is nothing more beautiful, in my humble opinion, than seeing a person pray with their full intention and attention and spiritual awareness. Don't be shy if you need to pray in public. Don't throw your coat on the ground, get a prayer mat out, get your tasbih out. Don't be afraid of people, right? Do it openly and clearly, and if anybody has a problem, it's never happened that somebody's had a problem. Usually they're just like, wow. They're more likely to have a problem if you're kind of hiding in... I once had an experience where it was Maghrib time, so it was getting dark, and I was in a parking lot and I kind of hid behind a car and did my prayers. And as soon as I finished, this guy comes over, what are you doing to my car? And literally he thought I was trying to break into his car. And I was like, no, it's not like that. Fortunately, I was with some women, and one of the women who's wearing a hijab was like, no, he's just praying. And obviously women are softer and they don't look as dodgy as I do when I'm wearing a hoodie in the middle of the night. The point here is, don't be shy about it. Don't hide. Be open, be clear, be transparent, and you'll find it brings good energy people towards you. It literally, you're surrounded. You have so much light and love and positive energy as you're praying. It brings beauty to you. That's my advice. If you ever need to pray in public, do it all out. Don't hide. Don't be shy. Let's face it. You're doing the greatest thing that Allah wants a human being to do. Be proud of it. Don't be shy of it. Until next time, check out the next Daily Spiritual Download right over there.